What's up, Tweeners? Welcome back to another Tweener at Tennis video today. And today we have an interview with one of the most promising and most talented college kids on the ITA tour today and in the NCAA. I gotta merge those two. August Holmgren is one of the most decorated college athletes on the West Coast and representing a country like Denmark in the Davis Cup that he's done in the past and representing himself and the school of the University of San Diego at the San Diego Open. Now, that was a lot of fun to watch him. He beat Jordan Thompson in his first round of qualifying, had a match point against Salvatore Caruso, and then ended up playing against Grigor Dimitrov. Three players on all scales are very different at their own pace, but at the same time are very enjoyable to watch. And August had a great job of playing each and every one of them. In this interview, we will be talking about how he faced each one, what surprised him the most, his college experience, and more in-depth analysis of what each player brought to the table when he was facing them at the San Diego Open. Now, before we get into this video, make sure you are subscribed to Tweener Head Tennis, because sometimes that subscribe button just gets unsubscribed. So make sure you are subscribing to the Tweener Head Tennis channel, as well as making sure you leave a big like on this video to show your support. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Enjoy the video, guys. August, thank you so much for joining me today. Joining us, I should say. It's a real pleasure to have you on the channel.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's really, really cool that that you reached out and wanted me to be a part of your this interview.
No worries. I think the first thing and what I originally DM'd you about was your experience with the San Diego Open and the matches that you played. For a guy that has achieved everything that you could in college tennis, what was it like playing at that level? I know you've played some junior ITFs, pro ITFs. This was your first ATP event, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I actually had to create a ATP profile and create a buy a license as well, and all this
Really?
happened like 2 hours before.
Oh wow!
Before I was able to sign up, so it was close to not even being able to sign up for the tournament.
That's awesome. And what was that experience like for you, at least now that you're a senior, I believe, or redshirt junior?
No, redshirt senior. So I
Redshirt
took
senior.
that COVID year, so
Yeah.
we call it super senior.
Super senior.
Yeah.
We'll go super senior. How is that experience as kind of a pro now? I have to say pro because now you're officially on the ATP website. How is that experience? And can you walk us through what you were thinking or what the experience was like for you as a player, as a person, I should say?
Yeah, I mean, it was a wild experience. I signed up for the tournament with pretty much no hopes that I was going to get in. But I thought, okay, it's in San Diego, and I know Ryan Redondo, who facilitated the tournament, along with other people, obviously. But I thought, okay, let's just try. It's going to be stupid to not try and then see someone else getting in.
Exactly.
And yeah. When I found out that I was going to play, it was a very shocking. I was in this big meeting with our athletic director and a lot of board members.
Oh wow!
Because they were talking to some of the student athletes, and yeah, I had to take a step away just for a second. After finding out that I was going to play against Jordan Thompson, it was actually pretty confusing because Dennis, who was my contact from the tournament there, he texted, "Are you in?" instead of
really?
"You are in." So I was like, "What does that mean, Dennis? Well, am I in, or are you asking me a question? What's going on?"
Yeah.
But yeah. Then getting to play against Jordan and having all of my teammates coming out and so much support from the community, it was such a great experience. My teammates made up chants that they would sing during the matches. I think it might have gotten under the skin of some of the players, but
Oh, of course.
it's really fun.
That's really funny because in terms of not having that college atmosphere, a lot of these players never really grew up or played through that chaos that is college tennis, and that everyone loves to be a part of, and the chants and the even a little bit of haggling here and there, because college tennis is just a different beast when it comes to competitiveness. So
Yeah, completely.
it's so different. So having that kind of shift of mentality, not having teammates next to you, supporting you all the time, but thankfully it was in San Diego, so you had your friends there, and I feel like that was an incredible experience for you, and I can't really relate to it, but for you to beat a guy like Jordan Thompson, what does that mean to you in terms of moving forward and seeing how well your game can be and how well you can play?
I think it's an affirmation of my game right now. It shows what works, and but the experience at the San Diego Open also showed me what doesn't work, what needs to be better. So for example, all the pros make consistent great decisions. They don't give away as many cheap points as the other people I usually play against and myself. And I think that's the biggest reason why they are where they are. Mm-hmm. Because it's just so hard to win. Mm-hmm. When your opponent doesn't make any stupid decisions. Mm-hmm. For example, pretty much exclusively when they're being pressured to the backhand side, hard cross back, because it's such a hard ball to create off of. And then as soon as I spread the court too early, if I go up the line on a ball too early, Jordan, Caruso, Dimitrov, they're so fast. So I get punished immediately with a short angle cross, and then I lose the point. Yeah, it was really cool to see the way that they go about constructing the points. And I think what these matches meant to me is also has to do with being a motivator in order to reach that level of tennis IQ. Yeah.
No, please continue, because I think that's very important for not just our listeners, but for young tennis players as well, because having that tennis IQ is just a different level. It's just a different level if you go from who your school faces, who you face in college, to the pros. And I think between those three players, you played some relatively big names in tennis in terms of the top 200 players, 100 players in the world. What was the most surprising about each one, you think, individually, from Thompson to Caruso to a guy that's won a Masters 1000 tournament, Grigor Dimitrov?
I think the most surprising thing about Jordan was I don't know about surprising. Okay, actually I got one. I think it was his serve. I think it was his serve. Yeah, because his serve wasn't very fast. It was decently speed, it had decent pace, but it was so well placed. I think he had 13 aces in the match, something like that. And he was hitting his targets really, really well, and it's kind of what you see Federer do a lot. Okay, and I know, don't compare anyone to Federer, because Federer is Federer.
Federer is Federer. You can't.
He's in a different dimension, right?
Yeah.
But he doesn't serve fast. He hits his targets so well, and it goes. So you don't have to be a serve bot to win off of your serve, because Jordan set up the points very, very well. They all set up their points very well with the serve. Caruso did it very differently. He used primarily kick serves to reach my backhand and get him to be in a just a little bit up in the exchange. And so when I first started the match against Jordan, I was like, okay, yeah, I can return this. This is not as hard as I imagined it would be. And I just got destroyed in some of those games. I had no way of just getting into the rally because he was placing the serve so well. And that was really cool to see. Against Caruso, I was very, very impressed with his, again, decision making. He gave me amazingly few cheap errors. And that was, I think that was in the end what cost him to win the match and win those massive points. For example, when I had match points, he would just so meticulously go for my backhand, get into that cross-court exchange with his backhand, because his backhand is so good. Like
so
really,
consistent.
really good. So consistent. He hits that high down the line forehand to just pin me to the backhand corner, because he knows that the chance of him winning the point with him going his backhand to my backhand is so just significantly higher than if I'm allowed to use my forehand. And he would do this in pretty much every single important point. So he had this clear strategy, and he was very disciplined in sticking to that strategy. And that was very impressive, because he doesn't necessarily hit very hard. He doesn't attack at all. I didn't feel a lot of pressure from his offensive tennis, but I felt a ton of pressure from his defensive tennis, and just the knowledge that I would have to earn every point.
And what about Dimitrov?
Dimitrov, it was a slice.
It was the slice.
Yeah, there's no doubt. So a lot of the players in the Players Lounge, when I asked them about Dimitrov, they said, "Yeah, the slice. He's got the best slice in the world." Or
wow.
It was very strange, because there was no pace. Okay, there was just
pace.
a little bit of pace, but it didn't bounce at all, and I would be neutralized every time.
Wow.
So I love to stand in the backhand corner and hit forehands.
Yeah.
All over the place, but I couldn't do that, because he would just neutralize every single one of my offensive forehands when I hit to his backhand, and so that just it took me so much. So I felt like I had to create more and more and more until I would miss, and then I would just miss a ton, because I felt like there was no way through him. And I think that's what I noticed now, seeing him play at the BNP Paribas in Indian Wells. And he's just done such a good job of, when he's not in the offense, he obviously a world-class athlete, one of the best movers in the world. And so he stays in the rally and neutralizes the points until he can get a chance to attack, and he does. He's such a good he's so good at recognizing where the ball is. So as soon as I hit short, he's on it immediately. Steps in, hits his forehand. So that combined, that knowledge of you're gonna get punished if you don't hit a quality shot, along with his defensive skill sets, is just such a deadly combination.
No, it's unreal. Like having that experience to play someone like Grigor is once in a lifetime, especially someone that is someone that has your ability, that plays such good tennis, and then playing against someone on the pro level that has had all these accolades, has had all these wins. And I have to ask about Grigor. He was always known as the baby Federer when he came onto tour. Did he play like Federer, or was his game style similar to watching Roger play or the way Roger plays on court? Was there any similarity between the two, or does he kind of have his own unique game with that slice that you've perfectly described, in my opinion?
Obviously, I've never played against Roger, so I might be the right person to answer that question. But
that's fair.
I don't think he plays like Roger. I think the similarities are that he has kind of the same service motion, maybe in the preparation, and he has a great slice as well and a one-hander backhand.
Mm-hmm.
But he's much more okay. Based on what I see Roger do on television, is that Roger holds the baseline very well, and he attacks pretty much as soon as there's even a small opening. Grigor spends a little bit more time building the point, I would say, waiting for the best possible opportunity. So he has no problem being far behind the baseline and grinding out the points. And I think I don't think that's similar to how I see Roger play on TV.
Of course.
So I think it's just because he looks good when he plays.
That's fair. It's just such a fluid game, and I feel like you can't. And I think you're right. I think you see one clip of them side by side. It's like, oh, they look very similar, so you have to compare the two to each other. But in reality, Grigor just plays a different style than Roger, and I think you nailed it on the head there. Just because they have similar qualities, they don't necessarily play the same way.
Yeah, and I think you nailed it on the head too, because I think it's the movement. Because Roger is probably one of the smoothest movers. It looks like he's floating sometimes, right? And Grigor, I think Grigor does the same, because he's so good at just taking 2 or 3 steps, and then he can be from one end of the court to the other.
I totally agree. And before you leave, I really do appreciate you doing this. I wanted to ask you 2 more questions. For you as a college player, what was your best moment that you've had so far, and what are you looking forward to when you're officially going pro after college? Is that correct, or are you
I'm gonna have to grind it out in a lot of futures when I graduate. But yeah, I hope to make it on the tour afterwards.
That's the journey though. And so what's your experience between college and pro tennis? I feel like that's a very common question that a lot of people ask, but I wanted to get your perspective as being one of the most decorated players that has ever played for San Diego to playing on the pro tour for the first time at the San Diego Open. What's the biggest difference for you between the two?
After I started college tennis, I became unable to travel alone to futures tournaments and international tournaments.
Oh wow!
It was very strange because it got really lonely, and I think it's such a hard grind to be out on the tour for weeks and weeks and months, and we got a lot of guys from Australia and from the US who travel to Europe and just stays there for 2 months playing tournaments every week. And since I played college tennis and was just immersed in this team experience in a way that I've never tried before, I had to have someone around when I travel. It whether it's another player, a coach, a friend, even if one of my parents at the time, just so that I'm not alone. And obviously saying I'm unable to do it is a little harsh, but it's become a big priority of mine to always travel with someone, or see, okay, do I know anyone from this tournament? Okay, maybe we can share a room, maybe we can hang out together.
Gotcha.
So I think it's the loneliness that's the biggest difference, playing future tournaments versus playing college tournaments.
Wow.
And yeah, it's not easy, and
Yes.
that's why you make friends on tour, right? Because you
Hmm.
play a lot of the tournament, play a lot of the same guys, and
Hmm.
then yeah, then you end up hanging out with each other. Um,
Yeah.
so it's important to value those relationships. I think, at least
No,
for
I
me.
no no I love that because in tennis itself, before playing for college, you have to play a lot of tournaments by yourself. You're traveling by yourself. You only know yourself as the go-to person when you travel, but when you travel with a team, you start traveling with your second family, and you really kind of develop that relationship. And it's not just like separation. It's not even separation anxiety. It's more, it helps you to stay in the moment. It helps you to kind of stay sane when you travel to a remote location in Texas or a remote location in Germany. It kind of helps you along the way to stay positive in a way that can help you get better at your own game.
Mm.
And I feel like for you, especially being from Denmark, it's, you now have so many other players now that are growing on tour that have played college tennis, Toppergaard, Thompson, Holger, like all these players now. What's so special about Denmark? Even Caroline Wozniacki, excuse me. What's been so special about tennis from your country that you produce now some of the best or growing tennis players on tour? What do you think Denmark tennis means to the global sport?
I don't know. I really don't know.
it's
I
it's a
really
big
don't know.
question, but it seems like you guys have figured out a formula to produce some of the best, not only college players but pro players as well.
Yeah, I mean we're certainly up and coming with Holger and Clara doing really well on tour, and we had um, Christian Seasgard who
Hmm.
who played number one for Texas when they won the national championships, and Søren Hesse Olesen, who was number one in college,
Hmm.
Johannes Ingilsen, I think he was ranked number one in doubles as well. Um, so we certainly have some really good up and coming guys. I don't know uh, if there's anything in particular about Danish tennis
Hmm.
um, that creates these environments.
Hmm.
So I'm sorry.
No, no, it's
I
no,
felt really, yeah.
no.
I felt really
Listen.
good support from our new Davis Cup captain Frederik Nielsen.
Hmm.
By the way, also one of the great great names
Yeah,
in Denmark,
don't
winning
don't
Wimbledon
forget
double.
him. Don't
Don't
forget him
forget him.
if you want to play Davis Cup.
Exactly. Um, yeah. So he's doing a really good job. Um,
Hmm.
and there's a few other guys. I think we have some good coaches. I know I've certainly been very lucky to meet my coach from an early age.
Hmm.
And I think he's one of the, if not the best coach in Denmark. But in my opinion.
Love it. That's, yeah, of course. And
So yeah, I don't know.
no,
I don't
that's
know.
okay. No, that's okay. I think for you as a player, it helps to have people that have gone through your own experience. And did you ever reach out to any of them that achieved the likes of being a national champion, being number one in the country? Did you ever reach out to some of these guys before you went to San Diego to ask about what the experience was like, or to kind of gain an aspect of what you might be looking forward to?
Yes, I think that's one of the things about Danish tennis is that the community is so small,
Mm.
um, that we all know each other very well.
Oh,
Um,
great.
I play in the same club as Christian Seasgard, for example,
Hmm.
um, and we're all pretty much the center of Danish tennis is all in a radius of 50 kilometers
Oh,
from
wow.
Copenhagen. Yeah, then there's the west part of Denmark as well, Aarhus, who have some good players too, but
Hmm.
it's pretty much only centered in Copenhagen.
Oh, very nice. Well,
Yeah.
Well, August, I really do appreciate you coming on here and talking about your experience. It was a lot of fun. I definitely think a lot of people should take away the knowledge that you shared with us about some of these pros, your background, everything like that. Is there any social media that people should be following you in your adventure on, like Instagram, Twitter, anything like that?
Yeah, I have Instagram,
Mhm.
and that's it.
That's totally fine. So if you guys want to follow in his journey and see how he's going to do this year in his final super senior year of college tennis and his future tournaments that he's going to be playing, check out his Instagram down in the description below. And August, thank you again so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, Philip. This was a really cool experience.
No, thank
Appreciate
you.
you.
And thank you again. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see you soon. Thanks, man.
Thank you. See ya.